Hello.
Hello.
You look like you just woke up from the dead.
Hello.
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 Hello. Yes, it was indeed a fantastic day today around these parts. Whew. So many meetings after our meeting earlier. So
you want to share with the class generalities?
Yeah, I wish I could. But hey, I had a tweet today that made some people feel some sort of way.
Oh, what did you say?
You know what? Maybe I should read it verbatim because it was very much a polarizing tweet.
Oh, but I literally don't know what you said. Like, I'm genuinely curious.
Oh, good. Good morning to everyone except people who think that graduating with an MBA makes them immediately talented. Talent makes you talented.
Oh, 100%. 100. You guys know. The audience doesn't know. I have strong feelings about the MBA experience. As someone who doesn't have one, I don't think you need one. I think you get one to buy a network and to buy access to careers that for whatever reason requires it. However, you don't actually build any skills outside of networking in an MBA.
Yes. And so I gave a caveat to the tweet. Let me also note that a member of our team has his MBA from Harvard, but he received it well after accomplishing great things in life. So that at least held the wolves at bay. But some people were really mad about it.
Well, what's the argument against your post?
Someone said, oh goodness, hold on. Somebody said, why is MBA the learning experience that gets the hardest time? Well,
because you don't gain an actual set of skills that directly apply to any position. That's explicitly why, right? If I were to go get my MD, I'm learning specific skills that really take me to a different, place. If I'm getting whatever the dentistry acronym is for their doctorate program, specific skills. Maurice, how so? Honestly, I do think if you're just going to buy a network or buy access to specifically consulting or PE, go get it. If you want to do anything other than those two jobs, don't do it. Also, most people go to those two jobs are miserable anyway.
And you could join a network by joining a fraternity or sorority in undergrad.
I'm not anti-MBA. Here's what I'm anti. I'm anti grade school to high school to college to MBA, and nowhere in there is there any job experience. And then saying, hey, I deserve more than the rest of the class because I went to school straight through. I believe that it can add value to what you are already doing in life. But it's not a gold star toward 6 figures and a take-home car. I'm just that's what I'm throwing out there. I think that the person on our team, Joey had an amazing career before he got to Harvard, right? And so it expanded his network. It also led people to understand and believe he was more than someone who was in the military before, right? I think we all run into this situation. It's oh, he was just in the Navy and that doesn't count for much. No, his experience in the Navy was huge, right? And the other things that he did were just amazing. But I struggle with the, grade school, high school, college, MBA situation with 0 job experience.
Because it's unfortunately something that a lot of us are told, particularly in Black and brown communities, that we have to have these seals of approval in order to make it or do what we want to do. When in reality, if you really think about the ROI of what you're getting versus the sticker price of what you've likely paid for it or will pay for it, I'm not sure how true that ROI is versus someone who just really crushes it in whatever it is they actually want to do. They can get to where they want to go. What's he saying?
And the value of networks in a world where there are networks, right? Also, every single year that the world gets more and more digital and more Zoomy and more LinkedIn-y, there's less and less value in the value of networks.
Yeah. I'll also add that the person who hopped into my DMs and were are you starting beef with the guys over at Harlem? I was like, first of all, the guys at Harlem Capital are talented. They were talented before they got their MBAs. This has nothing to do with a beef that I have. And first of all, I would never get on the internet and be like, Henri and Brandon are not baller. I cheer them on every day. Do I want to grow a fund as big as them? Abso-freaking-lutely. But guess what? Like, I didn't get there first, so bravo. But this isn't a beef. You're not going to see me on the internet dragging other people because they got their MBA. No. I'm just saying, I don't like how some people act. That's all.
As a woman who is already in, hey Ash, it's in your email. I get email it to you again because everyone else seems to be here. So yeah, it's something that like I was told often as someone who's like still swimming in debt just from my undergrad. I just don't see the ROI of adding an additional $200,000, $300,000 on top of that.
Right. I think also a lot of people are told if you get an MBA, you can get into VC,
which is so not true.
Which is not true. And so someone said on my on Twitter, I hear you on one level, strategy is strategy. A 24-year-old MBA and 1 year of experience at the right firm has seen more deal flow, due diligence, and decision-making than many people see in their entire careers. So look, my reply to him was, of somebody in their 20s, MBA or no MBA, is going to have the ability to look at deals and they're going to get some amazing experience. I just don't think that it's required. And so if we can move away from this idea of it being a requirement. And so I don't know. I wish Mr. Coffee would come in here and say some of these things because he could give us the perspective that we need. Because my tweet for tomorrow is actually ask a mentor for job advice, right? Don't ask your immediate circle because they may not have what it takes, right? So anywho, I could keep going.
Oh, Brian.
No, this is delayed. It's fine.
Oh, but yeah, I agree. Like my career path, it was, yes, my degree was a piece of it, but so much more of it was from the mentors that I made along the way. The people who really physically opened all of the doors for me. Those people are so much more useful to me and where I am than anything I learned in the institution ever was, ever.
Oh, that's okay. Yeah. So, and I'm about to move on to the next thing. But Lexi, did you look at the link I sent you?
I did open it. What do you want to say?
Did you watch the video?
For context, this is just part of our continuing Apple versus the world debate. And okay.
Lexi is privacy focused as a human. Lexi is as a core value.
Yes.
Lexi believes in privacy
I don't even know where she lives.
Okay. Actually, guys, really crazy thing. Speaking of privacy, I was standing in line recently at the airport and someone behind me like said something about my dog. I don't remember the sentence, but it somehow ended with like, oh, I hope they enjoy their flight back to Baltimore. And I had a panic attack. Like, and I just turned around, acted like I didn't hear them, and like kept moving. It was a very scary moment for me. Did not appreciate.
Where did that come from?
I was not coming from or going to Baltimore. I will tell you that.
You're not in the airport or anything like that?
No. And so I'm hoping, I told myself to relax about it, that maybe they were going to Baltimore and just assume that anyone who was in this terminal was also going to Baltimore, is what I told myself to fall asleep that night. It was very weird. Right? Like, what does that mean, Candice? You have the FBI connects. What does that mean?
Yeah, nothing I'm going to say here because I know too much, so that we can have that conversation offline.
Got it. And one quick thing before we roll, the answer, Maurice, is because debt. Now we can roll. Go, Marlon.
Oh, wait, that's not nice. That's not nice. I really do feel like I want to have this conversation with him now, though, because what we shouldn't have done, because because
We're out of time. We're out of time.
What we shouldn't have done is had 3 people without MBAs having this conversation.
I prefaced my thoughts with the fact that I didn't have.
We're still right. Yeah.
I gave full warning that what I was going to say was biased because I don't have one and I have no intention on ever getting one.
Yeah.
Let's go, Marlon. We're a company and a venture capital firm that invests in companies run by women and minorities, particularly when they're away from the coasts. I'm very, very focused on the Midwest. You are watching live the first pitch competition on Twitch, where you, the viewer, have an opportunity to vote for companies that you like best.
So every episode, we have 3 judges, plus you, the audience. You also get to judge each pitch. After each presentation, you'll see a cute little box pop up with a Twitter link for you to vote for if you would invest in the company yourselves.
During round 1, we watched as the startups presented their pitch deck in 5 minutes or less. Then the judges began their Q&A. After we selected viewer-submitted questions for the founders to answer, in the end, the audience and judges had the opportunity to vote in the poll below for the company they like best.
Candice, do you mind if we start?
Oh, sure. Sorry.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome back. Today is the big day. You are watching the Twitch Pitch Season 5 finale, the very first pitch competition here on Twitch, brought to you by your very favorite venture capitalists, the team here at Lightship Capital. This is it. So if you've been watching all the episodes, we've been here for almost a month. We've seen 12 incredible companies present their company, everything from a little fintech to AI to consumer packaged goods. The companies all presented 5-minute pitch videos, and then we asked them some questions. You, the audience, were able to ask them some questions. We talked a little bit about each company to get here. As a reminder, we and you, the audience, have the ability to vote for our favorite companies. So tonight, you will meet the top 3 companies that received the most votes from us, the judges, and the audience, who will be competing for the big shabang, $25,000 in cash and some great non-cash prizes as well. So before we get into who's here tonight, let me give a quick thank you to our sponsors. We're proud to be here thanks to JPMorgan Chase, a global leader in financial services that provides services to over 100 countries, governments, institutions, and companies across the world. UPS, a global leader in logistics solutions. The Ohio Third Frontier, they work with innovative startup companies across the state of Ohio, making Ohio the destination for tech entrepreneurs. And my very favorite, the Hillman Accelerator. Hillman's the very first and for underrepresented founders. And it just happens to have been created by our very own Candice Brackeen. In addition to launching the Hillman Accelerator, she's also a GP and co-founder here at Lightship Capital. She leads all of our work in terms of CPG and e-commerce and debates with Maurice in the audience, and she's incredible. The other side of me here is Brian Brackeen. He's our other co-founder and GP at the fund. He also is our expert in all things AI, machine learning, and computer vision, and we are excited to get started. So tonight we're going to see the top 3 companies. I'm going to just announce all 3 of them really quickly, just so you know who we're going to see. Tonight, we are going to see again, for the last time, so everyone keep your eyes open, keep them peeled. We are going to see Ash from Tiny Human Food, Amin from Elite Sweets, and Santa from Rubitection. So what they're going to do tonight is they're not going to give a full pitch. No need for that. What's going to happen is they're going to do a little bit of a demo if they can. Some of these are more product focused, some of these not so much. So we're going to do some sort of demo or show a demo video, and then we're going to ask a couple more questions. You in the audience, wherever you're watching, also ask your questions in the comment box below, and we will get to them. And then we're going to make a decision right here tonight live. So stay tuned to the end. We'll announce the winner Can't wait. So let's get started with our very first company. Oh, in the finale, let's bring back Ash from Tiny Human Food.
Hello.
Hello.
Welcome back.
This time, if I am, lie to me because I can't change it.
Oh no, I'm getting weird feedback. It's okay, we're gonna work through this. So Ash, feel free to either play your product demo video that we talked about, and if you have any issues with that, we have your backup, and Marlon can cue it up.
Awesome. Okay, let me share that now. All right. So I wanted to just do a little bit of talking while we look at these cuties. As you guys know, Tiny Human Food is.
We don't see the cuties yet.
You can't?
We don't see the cuties yet. Marlon, do you want to help out on the back end?
How about now?
Perfect.
All right. StreamYard is new to my world. Okay. So since we are Tiny Human Food, it's hard to demo that via the World Wide Web. However, I thought I'd let the babies kind of do the talking for me and for us, along with some of the comments from their parents and all of the good things that have come over the last couple of years. So that's just them enjoying their things, doing their things. Look at how cute she is. I just got that one yesterday. He's so cute. And then that one will just kind of continue to roll. So basically, the great part so far is that with the core 6 recipes that we have, I don't get complaints. And that really brings me a tremendous amount of joy, because I would hate to feel like I'm sending food out into the world and having tiny humans hate it. And instead, they absolutely love it. So as you guys can see, so that's the best I have for a demo over the computer.
Excellent, excellent. Yeah, we should have gone online and ordered some samples for some kids or some adult humans.
Yeah, right.
So Candice, do you have any follow-up questions? And as a reminder, before she asks for questions, everyone in the audience, feel free to drop your questions and comments down below, as this is it.
Yes. Okay. So my question is a little bit around kind of marketing. So obviously we got to see some kind of TikTok videos or reels from Instagram. And I can imagine that you're a relatively small company and the marketing budget isn't huge. Can you tell me how effective those two social media platforms have been for you as an org?
So TikTok, I've just started dabbling in, and by just, I mean the video you saw is the one that we have. But I have been working with Instagram moms, and it's been pretty amazing. When I decided to pivot to D2C versus retail for the time being, I was really nervous about not being able to be hands-on with customers and potential customers, and thought that being online would be really impersonal. And instead, it's really been the opposite. I think we touched on that last time. And so because of that, you know, I reach out to these moms, I ask them if they'll help, and dads too, quite honestly, it's just mostly moms. And they go on and go above and beyond. You know, they take the product and they share, but then they share multiple times, or they'll go on the website and share a whole reel, like in the video, really highlighting the product. So it seems to be doing very well for us. I need to do more of that, but it's a very inexpensive way to really increase visibility.
Okay, and actually someone in the audience, Tracero Cinco, is asking a question that I was about to ask. Can you tell me about shelf life of the product?
Yeah, shelf life is 120 days refrigerated. So, and if you put it in the freezer, you essentially hit the pause button. I mean, no baby is eating puree long enough that you could possibly over freeze it. But yes, it's 120 days from production.
Perfect. All right, who's next?
I had a question about exit. I don't recall if we talked about this the last time we spoke, but where's the ultimate goal here?
Yeah, so I am not flimsy on this topic. I am flexible. I think that that's a smart way to kind of approach exit when you're talking about this category in particular, right? So a couple of the brands that have done very well had great exits. I mean, we're talking like $250 million exits for two of them. Unfortunately, they're two of the most contaminated products on the market now. So I think for me, it's just going to be a matter of, you know, really being careful that once we are ready to be acquired, because that is ultimately my goal. I want to be able to get out from behind the computer and go help people and get my arms around tiny humans and do a lot of good things. So once that does happen, it's got to be to somebody who I know is actually going to maintain the integrity of the product and that there's no compromise there.
Awesome. Thank you.
Of course.
Excellent. So tell me a little bit about, for how long are you staying with the baby, and do you have plans to grow with baby?
Yes, so baby is where we're primarily focused for, I would say, at least the next 2 years. And the reason for that is, well, I mean, as you guys know, it takes time to grow any startup, right? But the great part about baby food is that, and baby in general, is that we can really branch out into so many different products. You know, and one of those, like I told you guys last time, I wish that I could share it, but it's awesome. It's a game changer, and will not only extend the customer life cycle that we have, but it will also really help to make an even bigger impact on the health of tiny humans. But we also do need to expand into other recipes and things, adding in different like vitamin and nutrient like add-ins and mix-ins and things like that. So I really want to sort of build an entire like complete nutrition system for babies before we move on. I don't want to rush it and then miss something.
Excellent. So Bride Coke is curious, baby-led feeding is gaining popularity. Do you have any plans to play to the trend? And for those who have kids, tell me more about that. What is baby-led feeding?
So it's like baby-led weaning typically is what they call it. It's more like handing softer produce and bite-sized produce to tiny humans. It's not really something that we can facilitate, right? Like that's just something that parents can choose to do at home. I do like to encourage that they mix in like their own avocado and banana and things like that to play with different textures and teach their tiny humans about texture. But it would be difficult for us to, you know, essentially send out like soft cut up produce.
Absolutely. And Mr. Black Coffee wants to know, what's the core value prop that you believe triggers trial and ultimately loyalty via multiple purchases? Is it a good food versus bad food story, or purely focused on the unique benefits of your product? Rationale for question, what keeps the bigger players from quickly following you?
The bigger players, I'll kind of answer this backwards. The bigger players are way too heavily invested in what they've been doing, right? So, you know, they're not going to shut down all of their factories that they have to all of a sudden then open a bunch of HPP. I mean, one HPP piece of equipment is over $1 million, you know, let alone to scale that way. There will always be a market for those companies. I understand that. I think there are a few things that are really playing to customer loyalty, right? So first of all, the value proposition is that it's the cleanest line of baby food on the market. And I get it, like it's a small company. And so it seems like, oh yeah, but is it? No, yeah, it is scientifically. So it's the cleanest line. We don't have any of the garbage that the other companies offer. And I don't say that to be unkind, is what it is. And so it's just really, it's hitting the nail on the head for all these parents who have found out that the big names do have heavy metal contamination, you know, in droves. And then the customer loyalty that I am experiencing and that the tiny human food community has sort of been growing based on is the fact that they know that we're small. And by we, I mean myself and Tiny Human Food. So whenever they reach out, they're getting me, whether it's by phone or Instagram or text message or email. So they just really love to rally around me and support the brand and help other parents find it too. So I can't tell you how many messages I get on a daily basis thanking me for creating a food that they feel safe giving to their children and that they feel good about giving to their children. And So it's a much deeper loyalty than, oh, well, that's a cute package, I'll buy it once, so yeah.
Excellent. And I think we covered Trace Senko's question. So with that, what do we do next? If you would love to vote for Ash Rossi's company, this is it. This is your time. To vote for Tiny Human Food, text the number 1 to 203-408-6432. Once again, text the number 1 to 203-408-6432. It is now or never, everyone.
No pressure. Lots of pressure. Please vote. We need the dollars for the tiny humans.
Great job, Ash.
Thank you so much.
Good seeing you again.
You too.
All right, Candice and Brian, final thoughts on Tiny Human Foods.
Oh, we have to deliberate now? Okay.
just a little feedback.
I wish that she was in store. And I understand all the reasons that she isn't. I don't know if parents have shifted their ability to buy baby food online yet. You can't see it, touch it, feel it. We buy everything else, but I also am 10 years removed from having a baby that was eating baby food. So it's been a while for me to kind of really understand what it would feel like now buying food online. I really believe in the product. As a crunchy granola kind of mom back in the day, like, it's important for me to know that what I'm putting into my child's body isn't going to affect their brain and their growth over time. So it makes a lot of sense. It's just, how quickly can this thing get capitalized so she can get ahead of the big players making a shift? Because at some point there is going to be shareholder pressure, parent pressure in this space. People aren't going to continue to allow it. We are all now a little too woke in society to allow the BS to ride.
I think, yeah. So for me, exactly the same point. Her last point is my only point, which is you can't be in the business of selling bad ingredients to babies. That's not a model that is sustainable, right? And so her model, which is selling good ingredients to babies, is where everything's going, and she's at the front of the line. So it's just important to stay there. So look forward to deliberating some more.
I agree with you both. Now let's see our second finale contestant. Let's bring on Amin from Elite Sweets. Welcome back.
How's it going?
Good to see you.
We're excited to see. What do you got for us today?
So we got the Elite Donuts. We got all 3 flavors today. We have our so we got our birthday cake, chocolate, and cinnamon sugar. So these are kind of just the display boxes. We do, everything comes in 6 packs. So it's kind of what it looks like here. And then individually packaged. This is my personal favorite, the chocolate.
Candice got the demo.
There you go. Candice will take this one over for me. Yeah. How did you like them, by the way, Candice? I was going to ask you.
So I like them very much. I took an L on the vegan side just once, just to taste them. So I've gone kind of vegan over the last 4 or 5 months, and then I shared them with the kids. They loved them. It was a little bit of an aftertaste because one of my kids doesn't like, certain types of sweeteners. But we shared them with friends, and they love them. So that's my feedback.
That's awesome.
But continue your demo. I'm sorry.
Oh, no worries. No, that's awesome. I'm glad you guys loved them. So yeah, this is my personal favorite, the chocolate. And so just a little bit about the Elite Donut. All of our donuts are protein packed and low sugar. They're all individually packaged and ready to eat. They're keto friendly, gluten free, soy free, all naturally sweetened. So really just a healthier alternative to traditional donuts. And so that's what we're kind of creating here at Elite Sweets. And just to kind of pull one out here and show you guys what a individual packaged donut looks like. This is the birthday cake. So they're all pre-glazed, ready to eat. And that's really one of our biggest value adds is, there's no putting it together in the morning or having to make it, no cleanup afterwards. It's ready to eat. And really highly functional prepackaged nutrition. And so that's kind of what we've been working on here at Elite Sweets.
How many have you had in your life?
Oh man, quite a bit. I'd say thousands, probably.
Thousands, right?
But more often than not, I'm always eating the bad ones because I got to eat all the test ones before we get it out there. So when we're doing all the R&D, you know, I'm the one taste testing everything. So I kind of take the hit for everyone there, but it leads to great products. So that's all that matters.
I appreciate you for doing it.
Yeah, I mean, I can say on my side, they're really good warmed up. That was like, I tried them just straight out of the package because I assume that sometimes they'll be eaten on the road. And I tried them warmed up. The kids tried them the same way and they enjoyed it. And so they're very filling, like they stick with you for a while. It's a great kind of just meal substitute. So yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed them. Can you speak to a little bit about artificial sweeteners and you know, how people are reacting to that?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So we don't use any artificial sweeteners. Actually, all of our sweeteners are all natural. So 0 calories, 0 sugar.
So what
we
is tasting then? What is that? If it's not artificial, what is the type of sweetener? Just so I can wrap my mind around it.
Yeah, no. So erythritol is one of the, we use erythritol and allulose as our sweetener base. And so erythritol is considered a sugar alcohol, which has a little bit of a lingering sensation, or, you know, some people have aftertaste, think it has a bit of aftertaste. So I think it's kind of all preference there. Everyone has, you know, their preference between stevia, erythritol, and kind of some of these other sugar alcohols on the market, monk fruit. So I think in terms of that, you know, the product is still going to continue to improve. And I think we're still in the early days for us. You know, the product's at its infancy stage and we're going to continue to improve it. But we use all zero calorie, 0 sugar sweeteners. And the idea is really to keep the product integrity. You know, being a donut, the expectation is to be sweet and delicious. And so that's what we want to continue to portray, that kind of effect without using things like real sugar.
I appreciate the correction that it is a real sugar. And I also know that sugar is kind of crack. So we all just kind of need to get off of that crack wagon.
Yeah, seriously.
Any other questions, Brian?
No, I'm just excited to taste it. So I'm looking forward to it. Candice, which ones did we get?
All of them.
All of them. Okay, great. So to trying them out.
Excellent. So as a reminder, folks, and I'm sorry, there is a bit of a delay in us receiving the comments. So the more quickly you put your questions in the box, the higher the likelihood that we get to have them asked tonight. So tell me a little bit about purchasing patterns of your consumers. Are you seeing folks coming in and pulling a Candice and buying one of each? Or are you seeing local, like loyalists where I'm just buying chocolate, right? I'm just buying this one. And what does frequency look like? I know that's a couple of questions, but.
Yeah, no, definitely. So we really built the business online, obviously. And for us, we've been testing. And so one of our most recent additions, I think I mentioned this last time, is kind of the addition of the variety pack, which is what Candice got. And so that's typically where we see our customers kind of, I guess, the early trial is to do the variety pack and kind of try all the flavors. And really what we find is that these 3 core flavors people really love them. And so people tend to rebuy the variety pack, although, you know, everyone has taste preferences. Some people may not want chocolate, so they'll just kind of go with their favorites, whatever it is, whether it be the cinnamon or a birthday cake. So in terms of repeat customers, I mean, we have over 30% repeat customer rate. So people are buying again, which is great. And people are really enjoying the product. But typically people tend to buy in bulk with the variety pack just because it is a cheaper per unit cost. And so I think from a cost savings perspective, it makes more sense to buy the variety pack than buy, you know, an individual package of each flavor.
Excellent. So Bri Coke wants to know, is it certified gluten-free or just gluten-free due to ingredients and potentially manufacturing?
Yeah, so it's not certified gluten-free in the sense that we don't have the certification today, but it is made in a fully 100% gluten-free certified facility. So I can tell you just from experience being there, there's no gluten-free in the facility. It's all 100% safe, but we just don't have that certification yet. So, it's celiac friendly. We've never had a complaint about that, but it's not certified yet. Those just cost a little extra money, and being a startup, we're kind of waiting to get those extra things down the line.
Love it. And Black Coffee wants to know, why are you starting so much controversy today, Maurice? Is this better than Krispy Kreme, allegedly? King of all donuts, taste not volume.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, at the end of the day, with Krispy Kreme, you know what you're getting. It's high sugar, high fat. And, we're never going to compete with sugar in that sense of the taste or whatever you're going to get with that. But at the end of the day, it's a compromise here. Our consumer base is really looking is health focused and health conscious, and they're really looking for a product that speaks to them. So in this case, it's the functionality of the product. So it's high protein, low sugar, and really getting those added benefits and nutrition that you wouldn't get from a traditional Krispy Kreme or something like that. So don't necessarily think they're the exact same customer, but I think it is a great taste, and we've done a lot of work to really make it a good alternative to traditional donuts.
Yes.
That's a local question that no one can respond to.
I know. So the next question, it's highly local. It's we're just going to skip over that. So Bobby Blockchain wants to know, where do you sell?
Yeah, we sell online at elitedonut.com. So that's our website. And then we sell on Amazon. So just, search Elite Sweets or the Elite Donut on Amazon. And, we get to do 2-day shipping there. And then we do a little bit of wholesale. So we're in some GNCs, nutrition shops, really more kind of local in that a sense, but nutrition shops, gyms, things like that. So really health focused stores.
Excellent. Great. And so folks, once again, this is it. If you love these donuts, if you want to lead Sweets to win, text the number 2 to 203-408-6432. Once again, the magic number is 2 to 203-408-6432. Thank you so much, Amin.
I appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, team. Candice, you go first. You've got the donuts.
I hate this part of my job. This, we're going to have to vote after the next person. This is terrible. I love this company. I think that, over time, they're going to iterate into more and more great products. I think this is just where they're starting. I'm being completely honest. The kids ate them and they really liked them. And it's hard to find an on-the-go thing that they'll eat, between school and lacrosse practice, or in the morning if there's just nothing legitimately great here at the house, which is often. So for me, as now being someone who's purchased the product, I think it's a great company. I think that we could do some work on, and this is me being harsh, packaging and getting someone to desire to eat this, right? I don't want to look at the box and think dry donuts. How do I make this look like it's just dripping, and it's going to be delicious, right? And so when I see it, I don't necessarily think that. And so how do I wrap my mind? How do we kind of rebrand? But I know that, last year they made $1 million, right? So they're doing something right. They're doing all the things right. Now we're just trying to improve to scale. So.
Absolutely. Brian?
Yeah, I think, and Black Coffee here, I asked some of the same questions. It's all about distribution. It's all about scale. It's all about how many folks can get this as fast as possible. Amazon goes a long way toward that, right? But even the Amazon 2-day versus the Amazon 2-hour is key, because sometimes donuts are like a just instant purchase kind of thing. It's you just want to catch them in the moment, right? So I think there's an opportunity there. I think there's also an opportunity for scale and for margin in hotels. I'd love to just go into the mini bar just grab it, feel good about myself, don't mind paying $5, $8, whatever, because everything in the mini bar is expensive.
Yeah, that would be a good airport food. Ooh.
Great airport food, because you're always eating bad stuff in the airport. So there's a million places where my choices are limited. I'm willing to pay more. That I think it makes a lot of sense.
Oh, and I don't want a power bar. Not to knock on that brand, but I don't.
I would rather have a donut than a power bar. Yeah.
So over that as the option. Yeah.
So awesome. We're going to keep on rolling because we have one more company to see tonight in the finale. Woo. Let's bring on Dr. Gaspar. Hello, welcome back.
Hi, everybody.
Hello. So I know you gave us a little taste of the device last time you were here, but let's see what you got for us today.
Yeah, so I'm going to do a 2-combo short demo. One that's a pre-recorded, so you can kind of see the use case and how it's used, and then I will show you the actual prototype. Yeah. Excellent. I know. Okay, so 1 second. Let me share my screen. Okay, let me know if you can see my screen.
Perfect.
Okay, I'm just gonna play this video. I'm not sure if you're gonna be able to hear the audio. Can you hear the audio?
Nope.
Okay, 1 second. Let me try that one more time. It might have to do with the settings.
You can talk us through it too.
Okay, sure. I could do that. Naturally, that works as well, just as good. Okay, so I'm going to start over then. So we're talking about that our solution can be used in a healthcare setting to improve care, to treat bed sores, which are very common. And if you can catch them early, you can prevent them from advancing. And we've developed a tool to do that because the early detection tool is unreliable. So it's a tool you put on the skin. It makes measurements on the skin, shines lines into the skin. And then we have a proprietary software system that processes that to give you risk assessment and diagnosis. We're using an optical approach. So we're using standard off-the-shelf optics, things that you can find in common medical devices, and a proprietary software, as I mentioned, that can give you low risk, medium risk, high risk. And that software platform can be used on a mobile device or on a computer. Initially, the system was designed for use, initially developed to detect early signs of bed sores, but in doing broader evaluation of the technology, in addition to being used for elderly patients who are at the highest risk, we realized that it could also be used for other healthcare conditions. And within the elderly market space, it could be used at home, in hospitals or nursing homes. In terms of the other use cases, we could be used for bruising, for example, as you can see here. This is me talking about all the other use cases. So dermatitis, rosacea, eczema, it would be the same platform technology, just updating the software in terms of what the output would be. And this is our current prototype. We're working on our next prototype that we will do some broader clinical testing with patients in hospitals and nursing homes. And that's kind of the walkthrough of that. And let me stop sharing the screen. See all the things I search. And here's our functional prototype. You can see the LEDs on, and as I was mentioning, to use that, you would place it onto the skin, which shines light into the skin. We measure what comes back, and we look for changes in skin redness, independent of skin color. And then we process that. I'm going to share my screen again. We process that to give you risk estimation. Share screen. I'm going to share the same screen. And then we can process that signal to then, based on the healthcare condition, in this case we were doing bed sores, to tell you if something's present or not, what's the risk level based on the things that we measured, and then also potentially give you a higher level vascular risk estimation as well. And that's kind of the short demo.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Candice, let's get it started.
Okay, so you didn't mention last time all of these other health conditions.
That was my question. I love it.
Yeah, I didn't go too much into that because we didn't have a lot of time. And so I didn't go into that, but it could be used, for example, for early detection of diabetic foot ulcers, psoriasis, rosacea, bruise detection for abuse management and litigation. There's also a potential use for skin cancer, but we haven't had the chance to get data on that. But just knowing the science, I know it's possible, but I just don't say that because we don't have data on that yet, but I'm pretty sure we can do like early skin cancer screening to identify things that are at risk.
Can you remind us how far you think you are from market or beta?
Yeah, I would say from market, from where we are today, I would say if we had all the money we needed now, because we're a low risk FDA device, but we're still a device, so we need the money to do the work. I would say we are probably like 1.5 years, because we still have to do the testing this year, do the product design, and do manufacturing. Then just do smaller pilots, register with the FDA, and we can start selling. But because we're low risk, a lot of that process is shorter, just because we don't necessarily have to get FDA approval. We just have to be FDA compliant, which means like you have to follow all of the regulations for good manufacturing practices, for design history and documentation, and verifying the safety of your system.
And can you remind me, are you attached to a university right now doing this work?
No, right now, well, I initially developed it at Carnegie Mellon University, but I graduated, so I'm just doing a standalone startup, working full-time in startup.
And do they own a portion of the IP, or is it fully owned by the company?
Yeah, so they own the IP because I developed it while I was a student there, and there are just automatic laws around that. But we have an exclusive worldwide license to develop the technology and ownership of future IP that we develop.
Including like all the way through the platform for each individual use case?
So the issued patent right now is focused on bed sores, pressure ulcers. So they own that fully, and we license that out. Everything else that we develop and expand on, they will get fractional ownership depending on how much of the main technology is in there, but it will be mainly owned by the company.
Got it. Cool. All right, I'll stop.
Brian, take it away.
Yeah, I'm going to double down on something Candice was talking about. The different use cases feels like endless opportunity. And so when you think about how you're going to commercialize that, and I know it's early, will someone buy a device and then slowly get more access to more things that it can see? Or will you charge them for each thing? Just curious about how you're thinking about taking it to market.
Yeah, so for example, let's say wound care versus dermatology. Those would be the same devices, but different software. So it's a whole different target user. So we would have 2 separate customers. Let's say for patients who are just in the wound care space, where it might be a diabetic who's prone for diabetic foot ulcers, but then also prone for bed sores because they may have dementia and they're not moving. It would be the same device, and we may charge them separately for the software system analytics for the different conditions, but the device itself would be the same, so we wouldn't double charge them for that. So it'd be like you buy the device and then buy the software modules for the conditions that you need it for.
People love that. Also because that software is recurring revenue, very high margin, right?
Yeah.
So,
fast to change. You can update that really quick, push that out.
Love it. Thank you.
Thank you for the great questions.
Excellent. I'm going to steal some audience questions here. Brian Koch wants to know, with FDA compliance or even without, can you pre-sell?
We can't pre-sell before FDA compliance. That's how you end up in jail, and nobody's trying to go there. Or nobody's trying to be Elizabeth Holmes here. No, thank you. So we, especially as a Black woman, she has not been to jail yet. I would be there on day 1. So that is not an option. We're gonna be following everything to the T. And we're technically not allowed to sell before we can show that we have full FDA compliance in terms of good manufacturing practices, FDA regulations around supply chain management, etc. So no, and legally we actually have to put on marketing material like our website that this is not for sale yet or not FDA approved yet, so that people know.
Great answer. And so for those who may have missed your first episode, just remind us, without your product, what's the method for early detection or diagnosis?
Yeah, so right now, if we're looking at wound care, bedsore specifically, the standard clinical technique right now is a manual test. I will show you right now, it's not very complicated. So you look for an area that's red on your skin. I'll get closer, and you push on it, and you look for your skin to go white, that whitening response that you see, and wait for it to come back. If you see that response, it means your skin is healthy. If you push it and it stays red, that's the first sign that you have some tissue damage and a wound developing. And so that's the whole clinical test. And you can imagine on dark skin tones, it doesn't matter how hard I push, you will see nothing. And so they don't see it on darker skin tones, independent of race, until you have like an open wound. But by that point, it's a little too late. It's very hard to treat and close once you have the wound develop. And it can lead to sepsis, amputation, and death.
Yeah, and you don't have to name any names, but is your software in-house or contracted?
Right now, it's in-house. So like we submitted the patent for the hardware combination, and then we're keeping the software proprietary.
Excellent. Awesome. Let's see. I don't think that I see any questions. You have literally our entire team doing like this.
Yeah,
so you know right now.
literally,
everyone in the audience is doing it too.
It's literally the whole test.
Right? That's crazy. Thank you so much, Dr. Gaspard. So everyone, this is it. Last one of the night. If you would vote for Rubitection, text the number 3 to 203-408-6432. Once again, to vote for Rubitection, text the number 3 to 203-408-6432. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I'm going to put my vote in now.
Do it. What a tough choice we all have tonight. Candice is already panicking, so let's start with Brian first. What are your thoughts for Rubitection?
Oh, so we're going to do this one, and then we're going to go to the big, right? Just exciting. I'm just so happy. I'm so happy for her. I'm so happy for the people that she's going to help. It's a great product. I'm actually like already off to the next. Like, it's great. Like,
you're ready.
Yeah. How do we get that year and a half to less time? You know?
Right. Candice.
Yeah, I mean, it was a big problem when she talked to us the first time, right? It was a big problem. Bed sores were a big problem. Not one that I thought I would ever be talking about, but a big problem. But then when she layered on other health conditions.
Eczema, skin cancers.
Yeah, foot ulcers. I mean, abuse management. Because, sometimes bruises heal over time and you can't necessarily see them well. So I found that to be incredibly interesting. So I don't know, you guys. This is rough.
Let's go to the hard part.
Now, here we are. This is it. So as a reminder, you have to pick a winner between our fantastic companies. So your options are Tiny Human Food, brought to you by Ashley, Elite Sweets, brought to you by Amin, and Rubitection, brought to you by Santa. So everyone watching, the way this works is this works exactly like our investment committee. You, the audience, you get one collective vote. I get a vote, Brian gets a vote, and then Candice, our chairwoman in chief, gets 2 votes. So we're going to tabulate all of the votes right here, right now. As a reminder, if you wanted to vote for Tiny Human Food, text the number 1 to the magic number, 203-408-6432. If you wanted to vote for Elite Sweets, text the number 2 to 203-408-6432. And if you wanted to vote for Rubitection, text the number 3 to 203-408-6432. This is the time for all the marbles. Audience, you have approximately 3 more minutes to vote. That's it.
Man, suspense.
Very, very, very tense. I want to keep the suspense going here. So, anyone feel confident about? Or you're on mute.
They're all good, right? Every single one of the teams is great. So there is no loser here. They're all fantastic companies.
And as a reminder, if you're new here, why are we doing this? What are you going to get if you win? $25,000 cash money grant, no strings attached, no requirements to move to Ohio, just in your bank account. Wired very soon to your account. No investment requirements. But if you've been watching our show long enough, you also know that we have a very strong habit of either investing in the winner and or inviting winners to our educational boot camps and or inviting them to any of our programming that we do. So there's all kinds of cool stuff that comes along with being a Twitch Pitch alum outside of the cash.
Yeah. Yeah, we've invested a lot of money from this show so far.
We have.
Yeah. And I will say, like, look, we've done other pitch competitions, right? So we did one a few years ago, and I won't name it, but, we invested in the first place winner, and we're about to invest in the second place winner from like 2 years ago. So like, keep this relationship. You just never know how it's gonna go.
Absolutely true. Absolutely true. So CNB, do we feel like we need more deliberation time, or do you feel like you're ready? Well, Brian, we always have to leave Candice for last. Brian, what are your thoughts? Who would you?
Wait, don't we tell what the audience vote was first?
Oh, well, it seems backstage that our audience vote is not yet collected. We have a few seconds. So let me give you a quick recap of our show and fill some airtime. So season 1, we had incredible 2 winners, actually. We had a co-winning season. The first winner was the incredible team at Hustle Clean. Love everything they're doing. They're crushing it. They're in Target. They're in Walmart. They're in really every store you can imagine. Personal hygiene company. We also had Undock, who won season 1 as well. It's the first real predictive scheduling platform. Makes all the decisions for you, saves so much time in your life. Not only did they win, we invested in that company and led their seed round. Great things are around the corner for them. Season 2, we had another winner called Allergy Amulet, which is an incredible IoT device, and not to get too technical, but it magically can detect allergens from the dip of a stick. That company has gone on to raise over $4 million in their last round, and we also happen to be a part of that. Season 3's winner, and I'm like blanking out on the winners now. Oh, season 3's winner was an incredible company called Provider Pool. Provider Pool is actually doing really interesting things with AI right now, but started out as a scheduling platform for nurses, short-term staffing for long-term care facilities, and is now becoming a full suite of holistic nurse care from start to finish in terms of career development. That company won season 3 and is doing some really, really cool stuff. And I'll just say that we're excited to continue to work with them in some interesting capacities outside of the show. Our season 4 winner is another incredible company called Young King Hair, an incredible youth-focused hairline for young boys, particularly boys of 3 and 4 hair textures. That company is also doing really great things. Special shout out to our friends at Target. It's public knowledge they're fully in Target now, and really excited for all of their growth and are excited to continue to work with them too. Did I kill enough time, Marlon?
I mean, I loved seeing, I don't know if you've seen the video, there have been TikTok videos recently at Young King of them like going into the store and seeing the product in the store. Just like really cool to see mom, dad, son, like the company they built on the shelf. It's just like really beautiful. So yeah, I love those folks.
So I think we are ready to reveal who the audience vote is. Marlon, how are you going to tell us?
Yeah, come on, voice of God.
So the audience vote for tonight is for tiny human food. So everyone, get your whiteboards out. Start keeping track. The first vote is in, and it's for tiny human food.
The pressure.
All the pressure. So now, Brian, who's your vote for?
Man, this is hard every time. But it just feels, maybe this is just because it's happening right now. This feels particularly acutely difficult. Harder than before in my mind. Because I remember each of these pitches during the season, and I remember each time thinking, oh yeah, that one's probably going to win. Like, for all three of them, you know? Yeah, so but my singular vote is going to be for Rubitection.
So you have it here, folks. Brian is voting for Rubitection. Rubitection gets 1 vote. Tiny Human Foods has 1 vote. So,
Don't do this to me.
listen, I'm not even doing it on purpose because I'm going to explain why too. Those of you who know me know that for better or worse, my background is in private equity. So fortunately or unfortunately, what that means is sometimes I'm really driven by growth. I get really attracted when I hear really strong, quick revenue growth. And to growing over $1 million in sales really quickly for a donut, not even like a health food donut, sounds insane to me. And I can't even try the product because of my allergy. But I've heard great things about taste. I'm going to give my vote to the Elite Sweets team.
Woo!
It's the growth for me. I love Rubitection. I love Tiny Human. But that, clearly something's working. You know what I mean? And it's 2 brothers just chilling. Like, I mean, it's a real company, but that's meaningful, particularly in food and bev. To get
so
that.
let's see. Remind me then of what the vote count is and what's left.
I am so angry.
So glad that you asked, Brian. So we have 1 vote for Tiny Human Food. We have 1 vote for Rubitection. And we have 1 vote for Elite Sweets. Which means that Candice's vote is the tiebreaker.
Unplanned every year.
Really unplanned. But this also shows how real investment teams work. We all have different skill sets and expertise and things that we're really drawn to and things that were like big negatives for us. So we collectively, work to make these decisions. And this is really how it happens.
And nobody's wrong.
Right.
Like, who's pointing to the right?
Nobody's wrong. I think we all are. There's just different moments of time, right? And we might be waiting for another indication or new metric or milestone from one of these companies. Or we may see the ability for partnership a certain way, right? That could drive growth. And so there's no wrong answer here. There's no wrong answer here. So typically, we invest in, as an organization, consumer packaged goods and services, e-commerce, sustainability, artificial intelligence, and healthcare. Founders from diverse backgrounds, right? We are all nailing it there. We typically invest when companies have some sort of traction. That is by way of revenue or users. We typically invest in companies that are in market already. And typically have FDA approval, right? And so all of those things we like to be true. However, when people are trying to solve really big problems and they are the only ones that are trying to attack and solve it, like our friends at Prove, the progesterone ovulation test. We made that investment pre-FDA approval. And they are now in Target stores around the country solving a really big problem. And there are thousands of Prove babies that have been born because of that technology. And so the folks at Rubitection are solving a really big problem.
Ooh,
And they get my vote.
You heard it here, folks. Bring on Dr. Gaspard. Bring her back.
bring it back. Congratulations!
Thank you so much. Courtney, thank you for the faith. Brian, thank you. Alexa, thank you as well. But I would appreciate your vote as well. But I still love you because we've been communicating a lot. But I just want to say thank you so much. We are trying to solve a big problem. It's not just a big problem in the US, it's a big problem around the world. Most of the people around the world are brown, and there's difficulty in doing skin assessment for all those conditions for them. And so I'm ready to take on that challenge and try to bring equitable healthcare to people of color around the world.
Yeah.
We're so excited for you. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for doing what you do in life, in your work. We really appreciate you. Welcome to the Twitch Pitch Hall of Fame.
Yay, thank you.
Very short
25 cents too.
people.
I am looking forward to working with you guys and whatever help you can provide. However we can, as Brian said, knock that time down, I am open. Because it's really, that timeline is not necessarily dictated by the FDA per se, because if I had all the money now to develop everything, I could start working on it and start selling. It's just, it takes time to raise money and it takes time to do development, set up manufacturing is, yeah. So if there's a way to knock some of that time down, I'm all aboard.
Well, we're here to help.
Excellent. We're so excited for you. Thank you so much again. Thank you so much to our other two finalists. Thank you, Ash. Thank you, Amin. You both know we love you a lot. You're invited to any of all of our programming. Stay tuned in your inboxes for more information about that. Dr. G, you stay tuned in your inbox about how to collect your cash. And for those of you watching at home, thank you again so much. This is Twitch Pitch. This is our very 5th season. We're very excited. We're going to take a little break, just a few weeks, and we'll be right back here with 12 more incredible companies next season later this summer. But until then, join us in congratulating Dr. G. Thank you so much. Thank you for bringing Rubitection into the world.
I just want to, by the way, just so you know, just a second, a venture capitalist from Pittsburgh just emailed me about you. Just now. Just right now. So that's how it works.
Are they watching the show?
Yes, they're watching the show live, and they just emailed me right now about you.
Wow.
I mean, that was fast. Yes.
That's amazing.
Yeah, most of the people who watch the show are investors or other entrepreneurs. So it ends up being a pretty useful audience.
You know, from your lips to God's ears, let's make it happen. Let's put that into action. I'm ready.
Excellent.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us again. And good night.
Good night.